Nina, is it your first visit to Tallinn?
This is not my first visit to Tallinn. It's I think I was here, in professional matters, probably 10 years ago or so. But first visit in prisons here in Estonia altogether. Yeah.
Can you notice some difference in Estonian life 10 years ago and today?
Well, to me, Estonia has always been very much like Finland in many ways. And of course there has been a change in those 10 years, I would say. It has become more, particularly when you come to Tallinn, you feel like you're in Finland in many ways. Also because the people are so similar. But of course there are certain differences. I just think it's very important, very interesting to be in a different kind of a place than your own country. People are very cheerful here. They're very, Finnish people can be sometimes quite sober, but Estonian people are very cheerful.
And how many years you are singing for the prisons?
Can I, by the way, can I now look at you? Because that would be easier for me to look at the person I'm not looking at. I first started working in prisons, I think it was 12, 13 years ago. So after that, I think we've done maybe 200 prisons, something between 200 and 300 prisons and drug rehabs, that kind of things, in different parts of the world. A lot in Russia, in the former Soviet countries, but also in other countries, all the way from Vladivostok to the west.
And Nina, what's your motivation singing for prisons? So many years, many years.
Many years, yes. We've been doing many years in prisons, and I have to tell you that first when I was asked to come, and sing in a prison, that day, up until that day, I had never been to Russia before. And when they first asked me, it was a former ex-life convict, he'd become a believer, and he asked me to come to Russia to join him for outreach in prisons, and I wasn't really interested. I thought, what am I going to do there? First of all, I've never been to Russia. I don't know anything about that world. I don't have any criminal background, so I don't know anything about that world, and I just thought it's going to be odd and awkward, and also as a woman. I thought it's just strange, But I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, so I had to ask my Lord, of course. He's my boss, so I had to ask him what he thinks, and I got the answer from him, and he said, "You need to go." So then I went. The first time's a little shaky, but I remember the first time was in Murmansk, and already then it felt really like home. And after that, it just it's hard to explain, but I think it's the easiest is to say that it was God's calling on my life, and I didn't know it. But when I stepped into the calling, then I started to understand this is my calling, and now I really like the work. The places are not easy, and it's a hard life, in prisons. But when you do something, whatever it is, when you do something that God wants you to do, whether it's cleaning toilets or teaching or singing in prisons or driving a taxi, then you are happy, even if it's not easy. Then you're in the right place at the right time, and that's happiness, and that's a big thing. The other thing is also that the people that I work with are great. I have a great team, and also the local prison ministers, they are really, really good people. So I've learned so much from them, and they also give me new strength. And just knowing that this is what he wants me to do is what keeps me going.
In what countries you have the concerts? Russia, Ukraine?
You mean in prisons? We've done concerts in prisons in Russia, yes, and Kyrgyzstan. Let's see, Ukraine, all the Baltic countries. I've done a couple of other, Finland, Holland, Canada, but mostly, the former Soviet countries. I've worked as an artist in almost 30 countries, but prisons, these.
Is there difference to take the concert for Estonian prisons or example for Finnish or for Russian prisons? Is the audience different? Are the emotions different?
Okay. There is not a very big difference, I think, in when it comes to prisons. Prisons are prisons, but of course, within a country also you can have different kinds of prisons. Particularly in Russia, you have hard regime prisons, and you have more like colonies, and they can be different within the country, and then you find the differences. But I find that what is similar to pretty much every prison that I have visited is that people are really willing to listen. I think it's the prison environment, the atmosphere. When everything, almost everything has been taken away from you, and it's like the things that we usually count on, that we have our systems, and we have blah blah blah, we have all those things. We are so busy, and then suddenly you are in a prison, and then those things are taken away from you. Then you are more willing to listen. Not everybody, but a lot of people are really ready to listen, and that's what makes it so worthwhile for me to go there and to communicate to people, because they want to listen and they really receive, our message. Many times I find, particularly in the West, but places where people have their own systems and they're busy with their own lives, and the people are not so eager to really stop and listen. A human being is like this. We think that we can manage on our own. As long as we have, we have money and we have things, we don't need God, and we can do it. And even Christians, many believers are like this. We think we have it covered. But then something happens, we become ill, or these things are taken away from us, and then we have time to listen. We start listening, and it's a shame that it is like this. But this is how human beings very often are, and in prisons it's slightly different.
I hope your concerts are like sunshine for prisons.
Yeah, many times I hear that. We get very good feedback from the concerts. I remember there was one inmate in one place. He said, for 1 hour I felt like a human being, and this is just on the level of the soul. Then there's of course there's the spiritual level, and there we see many things happening. So we really want to be there, to share the love and truth of Jesus Christ, and that is sunshine.
What audience is for you better, sing for women or for men prisons?
Women's prisons and men's prisons are, of course, very different, and I sing in a different way, or let's say I don't maybe sing in a different way, but I talk in a different way, because I'm a woman, and a woman talks to women in a different way. But I don't think that any one of these are more difficult. It's not more difficult to be in a men's prison or in a women's prison. It's just that they're different. With women, we talk about when I refer to things in life, maybe it's more about children also and things like this, and in a men's prison it's maybe more general things, but for me it's equally rewarding. Both of them.
When you leave Estonia, where are your next concerts?
My next concerts will be after Estonia. Will be in Finland for a little while. I have a new album coming out in Finland, so we have a lot of preparations for that and release concerts and things like that. So there's quite a lot of media work and things like this. Then this winter, this spring, we have again another trip to prisons in Ukraine. We also plan Russia. We plan Kyrgyzstan, and I think another trip also at the end of the year we go to Nepal. It's not a prison trip, but another kind of ministry trip. And in between those trips, there's a lot of work in Finland.
And who can give financial support for that kind of concerts?
Okay, my work is divided in two parts in one respect. But first of all, for me, I don't really see a difference, wherever I go. People are people. I don't. To me, it's not really different to sing in a prison or in a church or in a concert hall or whatever. I think maybe it's also the years, that taught me this. That it doesn't really matter to me where I am. But from the organizational point of view, it's like two parts. I have one part of my work which is like regular, there's an arranger of a concert, and they order, they want to arrange something, and then they pay like they usually do. That's the normal thing, and that's how it's always worked in my work. But then there's the other part is the kind of trips and concerts where the organizer cannot pay, and like prison concerts would be typically, but there are other kinds of, charity things like that as well. And for those kind of concerts, we have a support ring in Finland. Well, also outside of Finland a little bit, but there are people in Finland who think this is important, and they want to support us with money and prayer, and send us out.
Such kind of question. We have two basic words: remorse and forgiveness.
What's the first one?